Amy Roloff and Chris Marek. Why Matt Roloff wasn't invited to our wedding. Hello viewers, I am Alana. Welcome back to my channel. USA Daily History for Roloff family latest news update. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. When Amy Roloff and Chris Marek tied the knot in August 2021, it was a celebration that little people, big world fans had eagerly anticipated. The couple's picturesque wedding at the Roloff Farms, the very property that had once been Amy's marital home with her ex-husband Matt Roloff, added a bittersweet layer to an already emotional day. But what truly caught fans' attention and sparked endless speculation was the fact that Matt Roloff, Amy's ex-husband and co-star for over 2 decades, was not on the guest list. The question that lingers to this day is, why wasn't Matt Roloff invited to Amy and Chris's wedding? This is not just about one family's awkward dynamics, it's about how divorce, blended families, and lingering tension can affect milestone moments, even when everyone tries to be civil. In this deep dive, we'll unpack how Amy and Chris made their decision, how Matt reacted, and what it reveals about the Roloff family's ongoing journey since the show first premiered. To truly understand why Matt wasn't invited, you have to rewind to where it all began. Amy and Matt Roloff were once America's favorite reality TV farm family couple. When Little People, Big World premiered on TLC in 2006, audiences fell in love with the Roloffs' candid portrayal of raising a family with dwarfism on a sprawling Oregon farm. Amy and Matt had 4 children: twins Zach and Jeremy, daughter Molly, and youngest son Jacob. Together, they built Roloff Farms into a beloved pumpkin patch destination. But behind the scenes, their marriage was slowly crumbling. Longtime fans watched as small disagreements turned into major resentments, exacerbated by different work styles and clashing ideas about farm management. By 2015, Matt and Amy announced their separation, finalizing their divorce in 2016. Though the split wasn't surprising to those who had witnessed their tension on camera, the divorce fundamentally changed the dynamic of the family and the show. The farm, which had always been a symbol of togetherness, became a tangible representation of their rift. Not long after her split from Matt, Amy met Chris Marek, a real estate agent with no connection to the Roloff family or the farm. Their relationship blossomed naturally. For Amy, Chris represented a fresh start. He was thoughtful, supportive, and outside the complicated Roloff circle. In September 2019, Chris proposed to Amy, and she enthusiastically said yes. Amy's engagement marked a new chapter, but planning the wedding came with a question that would have seemed unthinkable just years before. Should she invite her ex-husband, who still lived on the property where she planned to wed? Amy's choice of wedding venue itself was controversial. Despite selling her portion of Roloff Farms to Matt as part of their divorce settlement, she still wanted to marry on the property she'd called home for over 30 years. The farm was special to her, but it also meant negotiating space with her ex-husband, who still resided and worked there daily. Matt, to his credit, offered to help make Amy and Chris's wedding day special. He suggested parts of the property they could use, helped with some infrastructure improvements, and appeared supportive, at least publicly. But behind the scenes, sources close to the family revealed that Amy still felt uncomfortable relying too much on Matt's goodwill. Old wounds hadn't fully healed, and the idea of her ex-husband's presence on such an intimate day raised valid emotional concerns. Meanwhile, Chris, protective of Amy's happiness, wanted to ensure the day was about them, not the lingering shadows of Amy's first marriage. In interviews, Amy has been candid about her reasons for not inviting Matt. She admitted that while she and Matt had learned to be civil for the family's sake, they weren't close friends. The wounds from their marriage were too fresh, and the complicated feelings surrounding the farm sale only added to that. It's not a big deal for me if he's there, but I think it would be for Chris and for the day. I wanted the focus to be on us, not on who's there and who's not. It just didn't feel right to invite him. Amy emphasized that she didn't want awkwardness overshadowing her vows. She wanted to be fully present in the moment, surrounded by people who wholeheartedly supported their union. While some fans argued that not inviting Matt was petty, many understood that setting boundaries was necessary for Amy's healing. Chris, who has largely stayed out of the family drama, echoed Amy's sentiments. He told friends and producers that the decision was not about disrespecting Matt, but about protecting Amy's mental and emotional space. From Chris's point of view, a wedding is deeply personal. Including an ex-spouse, especially one with whom there's a complex, sometimes tense history, could lead to distractions, gossip, and unnecessary discomfort. Chris wanted Amy to feel celebrated, not scrutinized. It was also about protecting their guests' experience. After all, many wedding attendees were family and friends who had watched Amy and Matt's ups and downs for years. The risk of small talk or whispered questions about Matt's presence was real and not something the newlyweds wanted to deal with. So, how did Matt take the snub? Surprisingly, Matt handled the situation with more grace than many expected. On social media, he made no public complaints and even posted about his happiness for Amy and Chris's new life together. In interviews, he said he understood the decision and didn't hold any grudges. Privately, though, some insiders claim that Matt was slightly hurt. While Matt had moved on romantically with Karen Chandler, his longtime farm manager turned girlfriend, the reality that he wasn't welcome at the wedding highlighted just how far apart he and Amy had grown. It also reminded him that some bridges, once burned, can't easily be rebuilt. Karen, for her part, reportedly didn't mind the exclusion. Sources said she felt it would have been weird for them to attend, and that she preferred to spend that weekend elsewhere. As soon as news broke that Matt wasn't on the guest list, the internet lit up. Fans debated whether Amy's choice was justified or unnecessarily dramatic. Some pointed out that modern co-parenting often means ex-spouses must find ways to coexist at big family events like graduations, birthdays, and weddings. Others argued that a wedding, unlike a child's milestone, is about the couple alone, so inviting an ex was not an obligation. On social media, the hashtag Team Amy trended for a bit, with thousands applauding Amy for standing her ground. Supporters praised her for prioritizing her mental health and protecting her new relationship's foundation. Meanwhile, a smaller but vocal group sided with Matt, saying his contributions to the farm and his role as the patriarch of the Roloff clan should have earned him an invite. Amy and Matt's 4 children have always tried to remain neutral in their parents' drama. Zach, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob all attended the wedding and supported their mom's decision. But the divide between Amy and Matt inevitably puts them in awkward positions. Zach, who has been open about occasional tensions with Matt over farm management and family dynamics, has said that he tries to stay out of it. The twins and Molly live more private lives now, but they reportedly respected their mom's boundaries. Family insiders say that while the kids wish their parents could get along seamlessly, they understand that true healing takes time, and that sometimes keeping a little distance is the healthiest choice. The Roloff situation is far from unique. Many divorced families face the same dilemma. How do you navigate major life events when you share history but not a future? Weddings, in particular, are delicate because they're deeply symbolic. An ex-spouse's presence can be a reminder of what once was, or worse, what went wrong. Therapists say Amy's choice to exclude Matt is not uncommon. Psychologist Dr. Carla Marie Manley told People, "It's healthy to protect the emotional energy of your wedding day." If having an ex present would create stress or discomfort for the couple or their guests, it's absolutely valid to set that boundary. Amy's wedding and the choice she made reflects how much she has grown since her divorce. She has become more vocal about her needs, more protective of her peace, and more willing to say no to situations that don't serve her well-being. Fans who have followed Amy's journey from a young mom juggling farm chores to a businesswoman, author, and happily remarried woman see this wedding as a milestone in reclaiming her narrative. It's no longer about what the farm means to Matt or what the show needs for ratings. It's about what Amy wants her future to look like. Matt and Amy continue to share family moments, birthdays for grandkids, the pumpkin patch season, but their relationship remains cordial at best. With Zach and Tori Roloff stepping back from the farm's future, and Jeremy and Audrey building their own homestead, the family's once tightly knit center has splintered. Yet, the Roloff story resonates because it's relatable. Families break up, new relationships form, and people must learn to balance the old with the new. For the Roloffs, the farm is both a blessing and a curse, a place that holds their history but also magnifies their differences. Today, Amy and Chris are enjoying married life, traveling on Chris's motorcycle, spending time with their kids and grandkids, and building their own traditions. Amy continues to film Little People, Big World, and shares glimpses of her life on social media. She's also busy with her baking business, Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen, and motivational speaking gigs. Meanwhile, Matt and Karen have teased the possibility of tying the knot themselves, though they say they want to do it their way. Far from the headlines that surrounded Amy's nuptials, Amy Roloff's decision to exclude Matt from her wedding to Chris Marek wasn't about bitterness or revenge. It was about boundaries, self-respect, and a desire to step into her new life unburdened by old pain. For a woman who spent decades compromising on her own needs, this was her moment to put herself first. And while fans will always debate whether it was the right choice, the truth is simple. Sometimes healing means accepting that not everyone has to come along for the next chapter. For Amy Roloff, that chapter began with a yes to Chris and a polite no to the ghosts of her past. LPBW. Amy Roloff's fiancé Chris suggests hanging out with her ex Matt and his new girlfriend. When it comes to reality TV, few families have shared their lives as openly as the Roloffs on Little People, Big World, LPBW. Fans have watched Amy and Matt Roloff navigate marriage, divorce, and co-parenting for over a decade. But what happens when new partners enter the mix? In one of the more surprising turns in recent LPBW history, Amy Roloff's fiancé, now husband, Chris Marek, made headlines when he casually suggested spending time with Amy's ex-husband Matt Roloff and his girlfriend Karen Chandler. For some, this gesture was a sign of maturity and modern family dynamics done right. For others, it opened up old wounds, blurred boundaries, and reignited debates about what it really means to blend families post-divorce. Let's dive into how this unexpected idea came about, how Amy and Matt reacted, why fans can't stop talking about it, and what it says about the Roloff's unique, complicated bond. To understand why Chris Marek's suggestion was so shocking or refreshing, depending on who you ask, you first have to remember Amy and Matt's long, complicated history. Amy and Matt Roloff were once the heart and soul of Little People, Big World. Married for nearly 30 years, they raised 4 kids, Zach, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob, on their iconic Roloff farms in Oregon. Fans watched their ups and downs play out on national TV, their differing approaches to life, Amy's focus on family, Matt's passion for big projects, and the constant push and pull between their personalities. Their divorce in 2016 shocked some fans but didn't surprise longtime viewers. The two seemed to have grown apart, and the tension was often visible on camera. Still, they vowed to keep things civil for the sake of their family and their business ventures. After the split, Amy started dating Chris Marek, a motorcycle-riding real estate agent who brought a fresh sense of adventure into her life. Matt, meanwhile, found love with Karen Chandler, a longtime Roloff Farms employee. Suddenly, the Roloffs weren't just exes, they were exes running a business together, living near each other, and navigating new relationships under the spotlight. Fans were skeptical when Amy first introduced Chris on the show. Would he be comfortable with Amy's history? Could he handle the ever-present Matt Roloff? It turns out, Chris not only handled it, he embraced it. Chris, unlike Amy, didn't share a history of conflict with Matt and Karen. As an outsider, he saw potential for a civil, even friendly dynamic, something Amy struggled to imagine after years of disagreements. In one memorable LPBW episode, Chris nonchalantly suggested that he and Amy should hang out with Matt and Karen, maybe go on a double date or share a friendly dinner. To say Amy was caught off guard is an understatement. Fans could see her face tighten as she processed the idea. After all, this wasn't just an ex-husband. This was a man she'd spent years butting heads with, both personally and professionally. The thought of sitting down for a casual meal with Matt and Karen felt, to Amy, like opening a door she'd fought to close. But for Chris, it seemed simple. Life is easier when everyone gets along. When the episode aired, viewers took to social media with strong opinions. Amy's reaction was one part shock, one part disbelief, and a big part, absolutely not. She told Chris she wasn't ready for that level of friendliness. In her confessional, Amy admitted she found the idea awkward and strange. Some fans sided with Amy, arguing that boundaries are healthy. Why should she have to hang out with the man who caused her so much stress and heartache? After all, moving on means moving forward, not recreating the past with new partners at the table. Others applauded Chris for showing maturity and compassion. One fan tweeted, "Chris is right, they all share the same family. Why not make it work?" Another wrote, "Chris seems like the grown-up in the room." The moment highlighted an important divide. Should exes remain civil but distant? Or should they try to build a new type of friendship for the sake of family unity? What about Matt and Karen? Surprisingly, they seemed open to the idea. Matt has said multiple times that he wants the family to stay connected, especially for their kids and grandkids. Karen, who was already close with the Roloff family as a farm manager, didn't seem to mind either. Some fans speculated that Karen's history with the family made the suggestion more complicated. She had worked for the Roloffs for years. Some viewers even believe her relationship with Matt may have started before Amy and Matt officially split. This rumor, though never confirmed, added fuel to Amy's resistance. Still, Matt and Karen have often expressed that they'd like to keep things friendly, if not for themselves, then for the next generation. Zach, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob all have their own families now, which means birthdays, holidays, and big events are inevitable crossover moments. The Roloffs aren't alone. In a world where blended families are increasingly common, exes and new partners learning to coexist is a relatable challenge. Celebrities like Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin famously vacation together with their new spouses, calling it conscious uncoupling. Even Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony co-parent with new partners in the mix. Therapists say the key is setting clear boundaries, communicating openly, and remembering that it's not about rehashing the past, but building a peaceful present, especially when kids and grandkids are involved. Chris Marek's suggestion, then, wasn't so outlandish. To him, hanging out with Matt and Karen wasn't about erasing history. It was about building a future where awkwardness doesn't overshadow family milestones. Over the years, the Roloffs' relationship web has become increasingly complicated and increasingly public. The family farm, once a unifying force, has become a flashpoint for tension. Matt still runs the property, and big decisions like selling portions of the farm have divided the family. Amy, who sold her stake in the farm, has often said she wants to move on from the Roloff farm's drama. Chris, by contrast, sees value in maintaining a friendly, business-like connection. After all, family events often bring everyone back to the farm, whether they like it or not. The double date suggestion and Amy's hesitation highlights this difference. Chris believes in extending olive branches. Amy believes in drawing clear lines. LPBW fans have no shortage of opinions. Message boards, Facebook groups, and Reddit threads lit up with debates. Some think Chris is too forgiving, that he doesn't understand the depth of Amy's pain. Others see Amy as holding on to old grudges that no longer serve her. One fan wrote, "Chris is right, life's too short, be the bigger person." Another countered, "Amy's not bitter. She's smart to protect her peace. She doesn't owe Matt or Karen anything." The conversation raises a universal question. How do you balance forgiveness with self-respect? When does being cordial cross into being uncomfortable? For the Roloffs, there's no easy answer. So did the infamous double date ever happen? As of now, no. Amy still draws firm boundaries. She and Chris spend time with Matt and Karen at family events, birthdays, graduations, baby showers, but they don't exactly double date at the local winery. Chris, ever the optimist, remains open to the idea. He said he likes Matt, he likes Karen, and he believes life is better when there's no drama. Amy, meanwhile, appreciates Chris's positivity, but she's made it clear that some wounds need time to heal. With new episodes of Little People, Big World constantly in production, fans wonder if the show will dig deeper into the blended family dynamic. Will Amy and Chris ever share a vacation with Matt and Karen? Could we see the four of them enjoying wine and laughter, or will awkwardness always linger in the air? The Roloffs have always been open about sharing uncomfortable truths. If there's any family that might normalize the idea of exes and new partners becoming friends,